Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm bringing you guys a one brand tutorial using only Too Faced cosmetics. As you guys know, I am obsessed with Too Faced. I love every single product that I've used from them. They are one of my all-time favorite brands. This is my first time doing a one brand tutorial and I thought it was such a fun idea to do. I had a lot of fun creating this look for you guys. As you guys can see, I created a very neutral silver smoky eye with a very soft baby pink lip. I'm just living for how it turned out. This is totally my makeup style in a nutshell. I'm obsessed with this look. I had a lot of fun creating this look using all Too Faced products today, so if you guys are interested in seeing me do my makeup using all Too Faced, just go ahead and keep watching. Alright, so we are starting this one branded tutorial with my eyebrows already complete. I went ahead and did my moisturizer, eyebrows, my eyeshadow primer, and then I set my primer off camera. So next we're going to go ahead and prime my skin. Today I'm going to be trying out the Too Faced Hangover Primer. I have not used this yet. I'm excited to try this one out today. It's supposed to be very moisturizing and very lightweight and thin, so we're going to see how it performs. So I'm going to start pumping a little bit onto my fingers and then just kind of get it warmed up into my hands and then just start rubbing it into my skin like a moisturizer. So far it has a really good scent to it. I can't really determine what it smells like, but it just smells kind of like fresh and clean. And it has a very lightweight texture so far. It feels very thin and kind of like silky. Alright, so now that we are primed, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of foundation on. I'm not going to put it all on right now. I'm going to put a little bit on, and then after I do my eyeshadow, I'm going to put the rest of it on with my concealer. As you guys can already guess, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way. I am obsessed with this foundation. As you guys probably already know, I filmed a review on it quite a while ago, so if you guys haven't seen my first impressions review, I will link it below so you guys can see my first kind of initial thoughts and opinions on this beautiful foundation right here. So I'm going to squirt a little bit onto my beauty blender and then start to kind of just stipple it on my face. And if you guys are wondering why I already have my eyebrows filled in, just because I don't have any Too Faced eyebrow products, so I decided to just use my Anastasia stuff and fill in my eyebrows quickly off camera before I started filming. If you guys haven't tried this foundation yet, I'm sure you've already heard such good things about it. It has such a good coverage to it, but it's very thin and lightweight with the texture. It's not heavy at all. As you guys can already tell, it's just evening out my complexion just perfectly so far. And I'm going to be very careful to not cover up my eyebrows with this foundation. I have to very carefully dance around them with the beauty blender. I have this in the color Porcelain if anybody is wondering what shade I'm using. I feel like it's the perfect match for me. It's a little bit more on the yellow side, but it just does really good for covering up my redness. I'm going to go in and add a little bit more. Alright, and then for my eyeshadow, I'm going to go into the Bon Bon palette. This is the cutest palette in the world. It's the only palette I have from Too Faced so far, but I am just obsessed with it already. So I'm going to start by taking this color Divinity, which is a very pretty lighter white kind of cream matte shade. I'm just going to start by packing that all over my eye area, everywhere from my brow down to my lash line. So I'm looking down at this palette and I really have no idea what I want to create today. All I know is that I really want to use this silver shade, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. Some of these shades have the most confusing names in the world that I know that I'm going to butcher, so I'm just going to save myself the embarrassment and just kind of point it out like that to show you guys what I'm using. Okay, so the first shade I'm going to dip into is this darker, kind of deeper brownish red. It is literally my all-time favorite color in this palette so far. I'm going to take my Sephora Collection Bullet Crease brush and dip into that. I'm going to start by applying it on my lid and then just kind of lightly blend it to the crease. So I'm just tapping it very low to my lash line, kind of staying below the first fold of my eye. Then I'm going to add a little bit of that same color to the inner corner crease, keeping it a little bit lower to my lash line. And then taking a thin crease brush, this is the Sephora Collection Featherweight Crease Brush number 38. I'm going to dip into this color right here, Mocha. I'm going to start to use Mocha to help me blend out this Boudoir shade. I'm going to start to apply this to my crease and just help everything get blended out a little bit further. And I'm just kind of building up that outer V shape, just to give it that smoky cat eye illusion. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that shade to the inner corner. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the shade Boudoir, and I'm going to kind of build that back up onto my lid, just to kind of make it a little bit richer. And then going back to blending with that same crease brush, just softening out those colors again. Okay, so I'm going to go in and add a little bit more depth in the outer corner. For that, I'm going to be going into Dark Truffle. I'm going to take a little bit on that same bullet crease brush, and then just literally only put a little bit in the outer corner right here, and then lightly kind of wiggle it to soften it into the crease. I feel like I'm making the ugliest face right now, but don't judge me. It's hard not to. And then taking that same crease brush and then blending it out again. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this silvery, shimmery shade to my lid. I'm just going to apply it a little bit with my finger to make it go on a little bit easier. I'm really hoping this won't ruin the look. I've never used silver eyeshadow on myself, so we will just have to just wait and see what happens. Okay, so far I ain't mad at it. It's pretty cute. Add a little bit more. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit of the blending with my finger, but of course I'm going to go back in with that blending brush later. So far this color is a lot prettier than I was imagining. It's a little bit like of a deeper silver. It isn't like neon. Then I'm just lightly buffing it out. And then to re-intensify my outer corners, I'm going to go back into this dark truffle shade and then just lightly tap a little bit in that same area just on top of the silver. And then going back to blending. So before I move on to finishing up my complexion, I'm going to add a little bit more of that silver shade just to kind of resaturate it in the center of my eye, just about right where my pupil is. Okay, so of course I have to finish off my bottom lash line still, but I'm going to go ahead and do my complexion first. So I have another new product right here from Too Faced. This is their Born This Way concealer. I have not used this at all yet, so I am super stoked to try it for you guys today on camera. So I'm just going to start applying it under my eyes, and then I'm going to kind of use it to help me clean up the shape of my eyeshadow. Then I'm just going to start blending that out with my damp beauty blender. I feel like it definitely has more of a moisturizing formula. Definitely looks healthy under my eyes. It doesn't look all like dry or like it's not emphasizing my texture or all my lines. So far I feel like it would be good for almost like any age range. Of course it really depends on how you prep your skin under the products though. Okay, so I'm already wanting to go ahead and add a little bit more. I just feel like I want to see a little bit more coverage. And I'm also going to start to add a little bit up here where I have a couple blemishes and some redness. Down the nose like always. All up in that chin. Gotta hit that cupid bow. Show it some love. Well, might as well just apply it everywhere else. I mean... So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of the foundation. I'm going to kind of focus this majorly on my forehead area. I feel like that's the area that I'm needing the most coverage right now. I feel like everywhere else is pretty good. I feel like the concealer had a little bit of a hard time covering up my blemishes on my forehead, but under my eyes I feel like it was the perfect amount of coverage. And my final kind of like verdict on the concealer, I'd say it's more definitely like medium coverage, but you can build it, but I don't really think it's like the fullest coverage concealer I've ever used. I've definitely used stuff that has better coverage, but it's not bad at all. It definitely has really good formula and texture. I just wish that I could get a little bit more coverage from it, especially on the areas that I have acne. So besides my eyebrows, the only other product that I don't have from Too Faced is a setting powder, so I'm going to be using my Coty Airspun to set my face. But that's something that I use on the daily, so I pretty much like have to use it. So I'm just going to start tapping this powder all over my face just to get all of my liquids set to perfection. Alright, so to finish off my bottom lash line, I'm going to take that same bullet crease brush with no additional product on it. I'm just going to use whatever is left over on this brush. And then I'm just going to start by lightly kind of buffing it along the bottom lash line, just to kind of deposit whatever color is on this brush that I used earlier onto my bottom lash line to make it a little bit more connected. And I'm going to buff it out a little bit more with that crease brush that I was using earlier. I'm just going to lightly wiggle that color around to give it a little bit more of a diffused edge. Okay, so I just decided that I want to add a little bit of that silver to my bottom lash line. So I'm going to take a Oliver shadow brush and dip the tip of it into this silver shade. And I'm lightly going to put that right under my eye, kind of where my pupil is. Just only in the center. And then next for inner corner highlight, I'm going to dip into this beautiful shade Satin Sheets. This one seriously looks like it's iridescent. It looks like it's gold, pink, and just yumminess. Ooh, that is so pretty. Look at that. And that's not even with getting my brush wet. That's just with one little dip into the palette. And it already looks super intense. I'm going to build it up as much as I can because I want it to be like super intense in the inner corner. So the eyes are pretty much done besides mascara, of course. So next I'm going to go ahead and start bronzing at my skin. So I'm going to be using the Chocolate Soleil bronzer in the shade Medium Deep. You guys can already tell that I've been using this for a long time now. I've already been loving this. I'm obsessed with it. It's one of the best bronzers that I've ever used. I feel like it's just the perfect like formula in the world. And of course, if you haven't smelled these yet, you need to go into Sephora and sniff these. They smell like chocolate. They just literally smell so delicious when you're putting them on your skin. So I'm just going to start by bronzing at my forehead first. And then I'm going to lightly kind of work onto my cheekbone area. Okay, that's a little intense. I need to slow down with the bronzer. Oh my god, hopefully I can buff those edges out. Then I'm going to start to work a little bit of that on my cheekbones. Get it blended to filth. Then I'm lightly going to add some to my jawline. I'm not really going in and like contouring it. I'm just lightly adding the bronzer there just so it's all very cohesive. And then next to get a little bit more coverage on my face as well as to kind of like soften my bronzer because I felt like I got a little bit carried away with it, but nonetheless I'm still going to end up working it out. So I'm going to be taking the Cocoa Powder Foundation. I have this in the color Light Medium. This is a matte powder foundation that has a little bit more of a medium to full coverage to it. As you guys can see, as well as the bronzer, I'm almost like empty with this one, so you guys can see I've been using it for a long time. This is a really, really good powder. It's one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna lightly add that everywhere on my face to kind of get a little bit more coverage. And I'm adding a little bit on my cheekbones right here just to kind of soften the bronzer and just give it a little bit more of a diffused edge just so it's not so harsh. And then I'm definitely going to be working some of this on my forehead since I got a little bit carried away with the forehead bronzer. This is like one of my biggest like secrets or like tips that I can give you. If you ever apply too much like highlighter or blush or bronzer, just go ahead and use your foundation color almost like as an eraser. And you can just pretty much pack your foundation powder over it and then it'll soften it and minimize it so it's not so intense if you get a little bit carried away like I do sometimes. Okay, so one thing I didn't realize until now, I actually don't have a highlighter from Too Faced at all. So I think what I'm going to do is go into my Chocolate Bonbon palette, and I think I'm going to risk it and put a little bit of satin sheets on my cheekbones as a highlighter. I really don't know if this is going to look good. I hope to God it does. I hope I don't regret this. I'm pretty sure it's going to work though because I used it as my inner corner highlight, but I've never used it on my cheekbones, so we're just going to have to see what happens. I'm just going to be taking my Morphe 510 brush and dip it into satin sheets. I'm going to apply it a little bit at a time though because I don't know what's about to happen, if this is going to be like super pigmented or what, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so far so good. Thankfully it isn't too pigmented to where it's hard to blend out. Can you guys even tell that I put it on though? I feel like it's noticeable, but it's not too noticeable. I'm gonna go in and add a little bit more. Ooh, okay, this actually does work really well as a highlighter. Look at that. I'm actually impressed. I don't even think it looks like chunky or anything. It just is making my skin look very like iridescent. It has a little bit of a gold kind of like pearlescent reflect to it. It is super pretty so far. Okay, I honestly can't help it. I'm gonna go in and add a little bit more since this looks so good. I just can't stop at this point. I just want to keep adding it and adding it and adding it. It smells so amazing and it looks beautiful. And lastly, to finish off my eyes today, I'm gonna be using the Better Than Sex mascara. You guys already know how good this mascara is. And then I'm going to hit those bottom lashes. Alright, so this is one eye with the Better Than Sex mascara and one eye without, just so you guys can see the comparison so far. Okay, so last step for this look is lips, and unfortunately I didn't have a Too Faced lip liner, so I had to go ahead and apply a lip liner off camera because I didn't want to like do too many of non-Too Faced products in this video. But I went ahead and applied the NYX Peekaboo Neutral Lip Liner if you guys are wondering. So for my lipstick today, I'm going to be using one of my favorite all-time nude lipsticks. It's called Naked Dolly from Too Faced, of course. This is a very, very, very pretty, like, pale pink. This is one of the first products I bought because of YouTube. I bought this initially because I first saw Lauren Curtis use it and I was obsessed with the way that it looked on her. So I just had to go get it for myself. So I'm just going to start to apply that everywhere that I did not lip line already. This is such a perfect everyday nude. Alright, and the look is complete. I really hope you guys had fun watching me create this look. If you guys have any other videos that you guys want to see in the future, make sure you guys leave your video requests down below in the comment section. Also, let me know you guys enjoyed this video by giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.